not as a end.
The recent decision that has been taken in terms of the SGX Nifty, what does it really indicate? Does it send a good signal, to the global markets? Like, it appears to be a bit retrograde. Will it affect the, kind of reputation of the Indian capital market? And also later on, when the foreign indices will start trading here in India, whenever, won't it be? I mean, won't they like to follow a tit for tat kind of thing? What's the aim behind this?
So aim, number one, these are the exchanges who have taken this decision, and they have taken this, they have come out with this joint communique in terms of, I think, in terms of the business interest. And what they are saying, as I read it, is that they want that liquidity on those indices in India should not be actually split, and it doesn't shift abroad. So these are commercial decisions which they are taking. I don't think so it is retrograde, but they are trying to ensure that liquidity in those indices stay in the country. So I don't really say it is retrograde. And which are the world indices which are traded here? I am not aware.
Yeah, I mean, whatever, down the line, sir. So, one more quick question. Would this also indicate extension of the indices trading time here at some point in time?
So we have not really applied mind, and they have not really approached us on this.
So, this is Shrivats from Business Line newspaper. The budget talks about mandating, asking SEBI to mandate 25% for the corporate bond. So, does SEBI have any thinking on what kind of threshold will be applied for large corporates? And what happens to the unlisted corporates? Will SEBI also cover those companies as part of deepening the bond market?
So two things. That's why I said that we'll come out with regulations by September, because we want to think through those issues. I mean, the issues are what should be the definition of large corporates, which rated bonds should be the ones which we are issuing should be brought in this category. On the last question on unlisted, we don't have any jurisdiction on unlisted companies. So we intend in putting this regulation for listed companies. But those details as to how they will come out, that's how we need some time. But one thing, as I said, it will be some sort of a light touch regulation. Yeah.
Sir, Mr. Bhatt from the Times of India. So there are two questions. One is, if you could just help us understand what your plan would be in terms of the steps that you propose for the next financial year. What kind of changes or what kind of tightening norms do we expect next year? Great focus areas, sir. And two, sir, the economic survey talked about high valuations and need to keep vigilant in the stock market, and the chief economic advisor made a statement as well. So what would be your point of view on this? And is there any reason for the investor to worry about in terms of stability of the market?
So the first question, our priority this year also has been, and next year also would be, for primary raising in terms of equity and debt. This year till now around 1.9 lakh crores have been raised through equity, and debt also more than 4 lakh crore, as I said, which are one of the times of records in the last decade or whatever you say. We want to put in place and facilitate more of those raisings by simplification of various processes further in terms of the listing timing, IPO process, and further simplification of regulations. We want to facilitate that because we think that capital markets role, the main important role is to see that the amounts are raised for development. Other priorities which we have are commodity derivatives market, which we want to develop. There again much needs to be done. Rationalization of enforcement procedures, we want to rationalize that too. These are the broad things which we want to do. About the market safety and all, I can assure you that there are some exogenous factors and there are endogenous factors. Exogenous factors which have been happening the last 10 days in terms of hardening of bond yields in US and their consequences, or in terms of the oil prices which may happen. That is something which everyone has to deal with, because it's a globalized, connected market. You really cannot escape if you are dealing with capital markets. But in terms of our provisioning, in terms of our risk management systems, everything is 100% secure. So there is no issue or cause or question of worry in terms of volatility. Volatility perhaps may continue for some time, because as you see in US, the unemployment rates have really come down, wage rates have really gone up. So maybe it is more than what was expected. So in that account, whatever happens, one has to deal with if you're dealing in capital markets. But there is no issue at all on any safety or safety of contracts or enforcement of contracts.
सर मैं शिशिर एबीपी न्यूज़ से, मेरा सवाल ये है कि सर लॉन्ग टर्म कैपिटल गेन टैक्स को लेकर के एक बात कही जा रही है कि आईपीओ मार्केट पे असर काफ़ी पड़ेगा, क्योंकि उसकी वैल्यूएशन जो है वो अलॉटमेंट डेट से उसके वैल्यू के ऊपर पड़ेगा। आपके हिसाब से क्या ये आशंका सही है या गलत?
नहीं, ये आशंका कुछ समय के लिए, ये कहना कि एलटीसीजी से कुछ भी इफेक्ट नहीं पड़ेगा वो तो गलत होगा। लेकिन 10% एलटीसीजी से इतना इम्पैक्ट हो जाए वो ठीक नहीं, वो कहना भी बिल्कुल उचित नहीं होगा। तो मैं समझता हूँ कि ये आने वाले समय में आईपीओ इस साल 150 आईपीओ आ चुके हैं, उनकी तुलना में पिछले साल 110 थे। और हमारा तो ये कहना है और ये कोशिश है कि अगले साल ऑल आईपीओ आएँ। तो मैं समझता हूँ ये धीरे धीरे स्टेबलाइज हो जाएगा, एक्सेप्ट फॉर ये जैसे मैंने कहा जो बाहर के फैक्टर्स हैं जिन पे हमारा कोई कंट्रोल नहीं है, उसको तो जो होगा उसको संभालना पड़ेगा और उसका असर तो होगा।
राजेश जी,
या प्लीज।
So Ruchi Bhatia from ET now. There's been a lot of talk about indexation, inflation indexation on LTCG. Which side of the debate are you on?
No, that's I see. As I explained, that LTCG has been levied by government after taking into account various considerations. Finance Minister has explained in detail. So various options and all, I'm sure government has worked out as to what should be the rates and whether what should be the indexation. So I don't think so I am on any side of debate. That question perhaps you should ask the government.
राजेश,
Hello, Mr. Kagi. I'm Rajesh Kagra from Prudence. In markets when there is selling going on, and especially when there is panic selling, then algo trades accentuates the selling pressure in the market. So what kind of watch is SEBI keeping on the stock exchanges in terms of algo trades that are going?
See, as I said that our risk management systems are robust and they are in place. Algo traders, they increase liquidity in trading, and so that everyone is aware. In fact, that is one of the advantages of algo trades, the price discovery. And so we are totally watchful, exchanges are watchful, and there is no panic, there is no cause for panic because of that. I can only tell you that.
yes, yes.
So this is Chetan from Business Television India. I would like to ask you, have you received any representation from investors on LTCG?
No, we have not received any representation from investors in LTCG.
सर मैं आलोक प्रियदर्शी हूँ जी बिजनेस से। मेरा सवाल है कि जो कॉर्पोरेट गवर्नेंस को लेकर जो कमेटी बनी थी रेगुलेटर की, उसकी इम्प्लीमेंटेशन को लेकर काफ़ी प्रख्याति है, और साथ ही जो बजट में जो सेबी से जुड़े हुए कानूनों में बदलाव किया गया है, सख्त नियम किए गए हैं, उससे कितना असर आप देखते हैं पूरे कॉर्पोरेट गवर्नेंस पर?
कॉर्पोरेट गवर्नेंस कमेटी की रिपोर्ट हमें अक्टूबर में आ गई थी, उसमें पब्लिक कमेंट्स भी हमारे पास आ गए हैं। हमारी ये कोशिश रहेगी कि नेक्स्ट बोर्ड मीटिंग में इसको ले जाएं। हमारे डिस्कशंस भी प्रिलिमिनरी कुछ हो चुके हैं कॉर्पोरेट अफेयर्स से और फाइनेंस मिनिस्ट्री में, एंड मेरा ये मानना है कि इसको नेक्स्ट बोर्ड मीटिंग में हम कोशिश करेंगे ले जाने की। दूसरा जो आपने कहा कि जो कानूनों में बदलाव आया है फाइनेंस बिल के थ्रू, वो बहुत अच्छी, वो उनमें से बड़ी अच्छी अचीवमेंट, उसमें मैं आपके ध्यान में लाना चाहूँगा कि उसी एक ही विषय पे एक एडजुडिकेशन होल टाइम मेंबर्स के पास हो रही थी और एक एडजुडिकेशन ऑफिसर्स के पास हो रही थी, क्योंकि उसमें प्रावधान था कि पेनल्टी लगाने के जो पावर्स हैं वो सिर्फ एडजुडिकेटिंग ऑफिसर्स के पास हैं और मेंबर्स के पास नहीं है। तो अगर किसी सब्जेक्ट में ये पाया जाए कि एक्शन जो लिया जाएगा एक्शन मैट्रिक्स में, कि उसमें डायरेक्शंस भी देने की ज़रूरत है और पेनल्टीज़ भी लगाने की संभावना है, तो एक ही जगह वो जो है उसकी मेंबर्स के पास ही उनकी सुनवाई हो, तो उसमें एफिशिएंसी भी आएगी और जो लोग इन्वॉल्व हैं उनको भी राहत मिलेगी. सो मैं समझता हूँ इट्स अ वेरी गुड थिंग इन स्ट्रीमलाइनिंग ऑफ द एनफोर्समेंट
पेनल्टी
एक्शन.
अमाउंट सर 1 करोड़ to 25 crore.
No, that is something which was by default, but because it was not defined, so those needed to be defined. That was going by default. Anything which is not included will go by 1 crore. But if something is consciously defined, it should need to be defined for exchanges, depositories, and all. Why it should not be defined? Okay, what will be the penalty?
From me, the share of domestic savings going into the equities market has increased substantially in recent times. So considering the possibility of an asset bubble in the equity market and the possibility of a correction as cautioned by the chief economic advisor, is there anything that the regulator can do to protect small investors?
So right thing which is happening for retail investors is that they are going through the mutual funds, as you yourself said, and mutual fund route is where there are professional investment managers who take decisions as to where to invest. But as I said, that there is no issue of panic. If they are investing in capital markets, to that extent that risk will remain. Mutual funds is not a substitution for bank returns. If people are shifting from banks to mutual funds, to that extent it is not a assured return. But this is the right route to come through mutual funds if people were to shift to capital markets.
So, two questions. One, if you could throw some light as to what advice the FM had to the board this morning. And second is, budget had a paragraph on unified authority to look at financial services in IFSC like the GIFT city. So what is SEBI's view on it? Should SEBI like to be that authority to oversee all the financial services?
In the first part, FM, we apprised FM as to what are our priorities and what we have been doing. So he was quite appreciative of last 1 year. And I must admit that more than SEBI, it is the capital markets which have been really doing very well. So, and they've been doing globally. I really will not really take the credit that, of course, what SEBI has done is that it has put regulations in place to see that the regulatory job is done well. So we just brought to the notice of Minister what we have been doing. And again, as I said, for the priorities for the next year, even he thinks that in terms of primary issuances and all, deepening of the corporate bond market or more IPOs to help investing in disinvestment targets or to help that InvITs monetization of assets. Sorry, I didn't answer that time. That is something which we should be doing, which we in fact are more than happy to get associated with that. On the issue of unified regulator, that has been going on for pretty long time. And what happens is that SEBI, RBI, PFRDA, IRDA have been tweaking their regulations for IFSC. And many times there are interplay in them. There are many regulations which say SEBI will make, but even those will actually work when RBI actually makes the corresponding modifications. So there have been models abroad where such type of IFSCs have been regulated by independent regulators. So government will come out with I think so, a separate law for that and set up a separate regulator for that. So it's not really going to be, as of my understanding, SEBI the regulator for that.
Hi sir, I'm Ashish from Colleges. I wanted to ask if you favor portfolio management when it comes to commodities, and if we'll soon see an okay for it.
Commodities market is one challenge and our priority which we are trying to do. There the problem being that the underlying market is not regulated by us. We have taken a number of steps and we allowed AIF 3 because those are the ones which we thought should initially get into this. We are examining portfolio management schemes and mutual funds. We took out a consultation paper, if I remember, in December, and we'll take a view soon.
सर एक कंपनी इन दिनों सुर्खियों में है फोर्टिस का, 2 क्वार्टर से उनके रिजल्ट डिक्लेयर नहीं हुए हैं, साइटनिंग का भी एलिगेशन है, सेबी उस मामले में क्या कर रही है?
the question of corporate governance?
We are examining that. We also received a reference on religare from somewhere I did not disclose, and it will be looked into.
Yeah. Yes. So you mentioned about the budget has mentioned about brokers and intermediaries tightening the penalty. The budget has mentioned about the tightening of penalties on the brokers and the intermediaries. You had answered that to an extent. If you could just repeat once more on that. And so there's a second issue which is doing the rounds. I don't know. I mean, you're part of the cryptocurrency panel that has been set up, or rather to look into this entire matter. So when do you see a finalization on this? What is the message on this front? Because Bitcoin is a big buzzword right now. A lot of volatility on that front. Any message that you would like to give out at this point in time, sir?
The first one, as I said, that if for certain offences there are no penalties provided, they were going by the default route. And since new instruments or new products have been added, say REITs, InvITs, and new categories have been added, it was thought proper that they should be defined as to, if they were to be penalized, what should be the penalty amount. So that is a step, otherwise they are going with the default one. So I think that is well considered amendment, and that would only improve, make enforcement efficient and deterrent. So we are fully on that. On the cryptocurrencies, actually the day budget was presented, or the next day itself, we requested DEA to call a meeting of that very quickly, and those issues and uncertainties which you just narrated, they are there, but we want first a policy to be framed rather than and we actually decide as to which regulator will do what before really taking. So I think I'll wait for that. We want that that committee should come out with recommendations very quickly, and we will fully contribute to that.
Right, sir. So I mean, obviously we'll have a new law in place, and also some kind of regulation. Probably SEBI would be.
So that's what I'm saying. It's for that committee and government to decide. As of now, what minister has said is that they're not legal tender.
Yeah.
So as to what should be the policy, that has to emerge, and then only what should be the role of SEBI will come out.
Yeah.
Yeah, please.
The budget also talks of reforms on the stamp duties. This is an area where SEBI has not been able to make much headway in the recent years. So what new steps are you thinking in terms of convincing the states on the need to rationalize the stamp duties on financial services?
It's a very important issue that stamp duty rationalization takes place, but it's also a very difficult issue, and at the government level this is being tried for the last 4-5 years, I am aware of. And the issue is you have to involve states and take them on board. Even the bond market committee under Mr. Khan 2 years back, where I also a member, as one of the major recommendations that on bonds the stamp duty should be very less or almost not allowed and should be uniform. So I think government has been trying, and it is for them to come out with the legislation. Whatever they need from us, we definitely would want that it happen, but it need amendment of the Stamp Duty Act in Parliament, which has to be piloted by the government.
So what could be the basis for the reforms? Will it be Mr. Khan committee report?
No, Khan committee report doesn't really mention what should be the rate. It says it should be made uniform, and on bond raising it should be bare minimum. But nitty-gritties and the actual amounts and percentages would need to be actually worked out, and I think in consultation with states.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
Life's so lovely.